Part 36.15 Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome back to Sufi Essence.
With Hammad Syed. We commence the detailed study of a profoundly vital section of Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Moving forward from the sobering warnings about the fragility of human existence and the absolute control of Allah over life, motion, and the very senses. Our present segment, encompassing verses 71 through 75, strategically shifts the discourse from abstract threats of instantaneous divine transformation and ultimate judgment to the concrete, tangible, and overwhelmingly evident display of divine grace naima and supreme creative power manifest in the natural world that sustains human life daily. These verses constitute a direct, logical, and practical challenge to the intellectual and spiritual bankruptcy of those who associate partners with the Creator, presenting an overwhelming, irrefutable display of Allah's generosity, meticulous foresight, and singular purpose in His design of the universe. The passage invites deep, central contemplation tafakkur upon the creation of livestock, specifically cattle and a collective term that represents the backbone of human civilization, economy, and sustenance in the ancient world, and remains critical today. This topic is chosen for its universal and inescapable relevance to human survival across all civilizations. The emphasis is crucially placed on the intentionality and directness of their creation, a fact that negates any philosophical notion of random or accidental existence. These creatures were created by Allah's own hand, an expression signifying direct, purposeful, and meticulous design and supreme authority, indicating a creation of profound significance that transcends the ordinary, and were certainly not created without specific beneficial will and a deliberate plan for their utility to humanity. This reflection leads to a detailed, comprehensive enumeration of the extensive benefits humanity derives from these animals: absolute ownership, total control over powerful beasts, practical utility for daily life, essential sustenance for the body, generation of economic wealth, and the provision of comfort, warmth, and stability in the harsh conditions of human settlement. This compelling display of grace and dominion contrasted sharply with the utter foolishness of those who choose to worship mute, insentient idols and associate partners with the all-providing Creator, aims to utterly dismantle the irrationality of Shirk association and reinforce the core, foundational message of Tawhid oneness. The verses force the audience to confront the glaring disparity between the one true Creator who effortlessly provides all life, sustenance, and control, and the impotent idols they choose to worship in denial of the clear, observable ilm knowledge. The sheer logic of gratitude, shuk, and intellectual honesty demands singular, unwavering devotion to the provider, making the act of associating partners an ultimate act of ingratitude and profound spiritual and intellectual suicide. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Chapter 36, verse 71. Do they not see that we have created for them what our hands have made, the cattle, so they are their owners? The 71st verse commences with a direct, challenging question aimed at awakening the intellectual and physical senses of the heedless deniers, compelling them to stop and observe the obvious, inescapable reality of their dependence on a superior, providing power. Do they not see that we have created for them of what our hands have made, the cattle, so they are their owners? The rhetorical interrogation, do they not see? Owalam Yado appeals to the most basic human capacity for observation, rational thought, and recognition of the divine signs IAT constantly surrounding them in their daily lives. Signs that are impossible to ignore because they are the very foundation of their existence and comfort. The verse then specifies the subject of this critical observation: the creation of the cattle alan a collective term encompassing all major domesticated beasts, including sheep, goats, camels, and cows, the very creatures essential for the survival, commerce, and flourishing of human civilizations across time and geography. Crucially, the verse introduces a highly significant phrase regarding the creation process of what our hands have made, amilat, adim, expression. Understood by scholars not literally, as Allah is free from physical parts, being transcendent and incomparable, but metaphorically denotes a creation of special, direct, and purposeful design, signifying the Creator's unmatched immediate authority, specific intent, and meticulous care in their formation, distinguishing them perhaps from the general act of creation kun fayakun, be, and it is. This emphasis on the unique intentional design powerfully reinforces the magnitude of the gift and the singular source of its existence. The immediate result of this purposeful creation is the complete, unprecedented control and dominion granted to humanity, so they are their owners, Fehumlan, Mablikin. This establishes the human role as stewards, granted ownership and complete control over these physically powerful large creatures, a profound act of grace and authority from the Creator, designed specifically to serve human life and provide comfort, wealth, and stability. This sign alone, the ability of a fragile human to completely dominate a strong beast like a camel or a bull without constant fear, should be sufficient to logically affirm the oneness and absolute sovereignty of Allah, who is the only source of this dominion and subjection that governs the human-animal relationship. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 72. And we have subjected them to them, so some of them are their mounts, and some they eat. The 72nd verse elaborates further on the miraculous utility and intrinsic submissiveness of these specially created animals, cementing the overwhelming Naima grace granted to humanity, and we have subjected them to them. So some of them are their mounts, and some they eat. The central concept here is the divine intervention necessary. For this stable, beneficial relationship, we have subjected them wa dalan be blaham. This refers to the miraculous psychological and physical subjugation of these immense, powerful, and often naturally wild animals to human control, making them inherently docile, compliant, and easily manageable despite their superior strength. Without this constant divine subjugation, mankind could never effectively control these large beasts, which would otherwise pose a constant and overwhelming danger to human life and settlements. This effortless submissiveness is a clear, continuous miracle of divine will and a daily sign of his benevolence towards mankind, demonstrating his care and control over creation's laws solely for our benefit and comfort. The verse then details the specific, life-sustaining utilities derived from this subjection, addressing the most pressing human needs for mobility and survival. So some of them are their mounts famine brak buum, meaning they serve as means of transportation for travel, commerce, war, trade, and migration, enabling rapid movement across vast, difficult terrains, effectively linking distant communities and enabling the spread of civilization and ideas, thereby forming the basis of global trade. In some, they eat wamind, yakulin, meaning they serve as essential sources of nourishment, providing meat, milk, and their derivatives, critical for sustaining life, providing vital proteins, and maintaining robust health. This dual function of transport and sustenance covers the fundamental physical needs of the human community, all made possible by the unsolicited, continuous grace of the Creator. This comprehensive provision of utility is a palpable, undeniable ayah sign that logically demands deep gratitude and singular devotion to Allah. The sheer order, complexity, and purpose in this arrangement testify to a thoughtful, powerful designer, not a random occurrence, and should dispel all doubts about the Creator's reality and singular worthiness of worship. Kanzul Iman Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran, chapter 36, verse 73. And for them, in them are benefits and drinks. Do they not then give thanks? The 73rd verse continues the exhaustive enumeration of blessings, adding further dimensions of utility and nourishment derived from the cattle, culminating in a profound challenge to human ingratitude. And for them, in them, are benefits and drinks. Do they not then give thanks? The verse widens the scope of the benefits beyond the obvious food and transport to benefits and drinks. Wa, lahom fash, manfi, yuwa, mashrib. The benefits, manfi, you are wide-ranging and encompass every non-food use. Products like wool, hair, hides, leather, bone, medicinal products derived from animal parts, fuel-dried dung, and the general income, wealth, trade, and clothing derived from the animals, which often form the very backbone of their material culture, economy, shelter, and security, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem of utilization that is entirely dependent on the animal's existence and the divine will. The drinks mashrib primarily referred to the milk, a complete, balanced, and pure sustenance provided by the animals, often described elsewhere in the Quran as a pure drink extracted from between waste and blood. A biological and chemical marvel that demonstrates the Creator's power to draw purity from impurity through a complex, unseen biological system, a perpetual sign of His mercy and power available to all. Having listed this undeniable abundance and complex utility of gifts, the verse ends with the powerful rhetorical question that cuts to the core of their spiritual failure: do they not then give thanks? If la yashkurn. This is not merely a question but an accusation of profound ingratitude, kufranima, the failure to acknowledge the giver, the manim, despite the continuous, self-evident flow of gifts that sustain their entire civilization and existence. The sheer weight of these graces should naturally compel the rational soul to toward in sure gratitude. Yet the deniers fail this simplest of spiritual and logical tests, choosing to direct their worship and thanks elsewhere, demonstrating a willful perversity that defies all reason and sense. Kanzul Iman, Quran, Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Chapter 36, verse 74. And they have taken besides Allah gods, so that they might be helped. The 74th verse shifts abruptly to the irrationality and sheer folly of the denier's actions, standing in stark and inexplicable contrast to the manifest proofs of the Creator's power and benevolence just described. And they have taken besides Allah gods, so that they might be helped. The verb have taken itikadr highlights a deliberate, conscious choice to invent, adopt, and elevate false deities, a willful intellectual deviation from the natural inclination, fitra, toward the one Creator. The phrase besides Allah, God's men dini Allahi li haytan, exposes the profound error and cosmic crime of shirk, the association of partners with the divine sovereignty, giving ultimate allegiance to that which is utterly powerless and often man-made. The stated yet demonstrably futile motivation for this dangerous act is then revealed, so that they might be helped lalahum yunaron. They seek assistance, support, protection, or ultimate victory from these powerless, self-invented entity statues, spirits, or human figures, believing they can intercede or influence the true divine order and gain protection from the consequences of their denial. This is the tragic spiritual paradox. They turn away from the one who created their essential sustenance with his own hand, subjected the powerful beasts to them, and gave them all comfort, yet they seek help from objects that possess no capacity to help themselves, let alone anyone else. This action demonstrates a complete collapse of logic, spiritual sense, AKL, and common sense, confirming the moral and intellectual blindness caused by denial, which prevents them from seeing the truth that their daily lives scream out with every provision. Surah Iman, Quran. Surah Ya-Sin, the heart of the Quran. Chapter 36, verse 75. They cannot help them, and they are like an army prepared for them. The 75th verse delivers the decisive verdict on the utter impotence of these false deities and the futility of relying on them, sealing the condemnation of shirk and affirming the absolute power of Allah. They cannot help them, and they are like an army prepared for them. The first part is a definitive declaration of powerlessness. They cannot help them. La yasta ina nagrahum. The idols, false gods, or associated partners are devoid of any capacity to offer the assistance, protection, or salvation the deniers desperately seek, either in this world or the next. This confirms that the entire act of seeking help from them is a complete existential failure that will yield no fruit but regret and eternal loss. The second half of the verse offers a highly evocative yet deeply debated image, and they are like an army prepared for them. Wahum lahum jendin mu aren. Interpretations of this phrase vary among scholars, reflecting the depth of the warning. But the primary meanings include: 1. The deniers themselves serve as an army or a devoted garrison for the defense and promotion of their idols, ready to fight for them. Yet the idols are incapable of fighting back or defending their servants, exposing the one-sided nature of the folly. 2. The false deities will ultimately be present or mustered with them in the hereafter as an opposing, accusatory army that witnesses their folly and shares their doom in hell, proving that the supposed objects of salvation were in fact the ultimate cause of their downfall and destruction. 3. The phrase indicates that they are held in readiness for punishment, like a collective group or army awaiting its execution. In any case, the relationship is exposed as tragic, futile, and leading only to loss, proving that the objects of shirk will not only fail to assist, but will ultimately compound the punishment of the deniers, serving as eternal witnesses against their masters and confirming the justice and authority of Allah. Hadith, gratitude, shukr, and the provision of cattle. The exhaustive enumeration of the graces bestowed through cattle in verses 71 to 73 highlights the fundamental importance of sure gratitude and its direct link to recognizing the oneness of Allah in the Islamic worldview. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, frequently emphasized that gratitude for provision is essential to faith and is the spiritual counterpoint to shirk. It is reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "When one of you eats food, let him say, Alhamdu, Lillahilalati, Atamani, Hadawa, Razakanihi, Mingari, Halamini, Miniwa Lakwa, praise be to Allah, who has fed me this and provided it for me, without any strength or power on my part." Sunan Abi Dawud, Hadith number 4023, Book 33. Clothing. This beautiful hadith is a powerful, practical, and daily application of the lesson found in Surah Ya-Sin. The act of reciting this dua attributes the entire provision, the food and the cattle that provided it, the very capability to obtain it solely and exclusively to Allah, stripping away any arrogance of self-reliance or self-power, hal and qua. This continuous recognition of the divine source of all sustenance, including the cattle described in the verses, is the very shirk that the Quran accuses the disbelievers of neglecting, and it is the only antidote to the shirk association of seeking help from false gods, reinforcing the call to singular Tawhid as the natural, logical, and required response to grace, ensuring the heart remains spiritually alive and thankful. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. O Allah, the Creator whose hands have made all things with supreme purpose, help us to truly see the cattle and all creatures you have created for us, recognizing your singular grace in making us their owners and subjecting them to us for our mounts and sustenance. Open our hearts to give profound thanks, shukr, for the benefits and drinks derived from them, and let our gratitude be perfect tawhid. Protect us from the deep folly of taking gods besides Allah in the misguided hope that they might be helped, for we know they cannot help them, and their presence will only be as an army prepared for our eternal destruction. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. May the peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth. And may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. Ameen.